is 4 p.m. We're bringing you developing news.
And the stories behind the headlines. This is Storycon. I'm Patrick Paez.
I'm Edwin Gao. Some stories we're watching this Thursday, July 18. Congressman Erwin Tulfo leads the recent Senatorial Preference Survey of OCTA Research. Erwin tops the poll with 58%. His brother Ben and Senator Bongo are tied at 45%. Also in the top 12 are former President Duterte and Senators Amy Marcos and Bato de la Rosa. Another survey, this time from social weather stations, showing majority of Filipinos believing government's response to the West Philippine Sea issues is enough. These include the conduct of joint patrols and exercises with allies, protecting fishermen in the WPS, and strengthening the military stability, especially the Navy. The survey was conducted from June 23 to July 1 with 1,500 respondents.
And Vice President Sara Duterte explains why she quit as Education Secretary. She said she had, quote, personal and work issues with President Bongbong Marcos that led her to exit. Duterte also clarified that her decision had nothing to do with the First Lady, Liza Marcos. Senator Sonny Angara has officially taken over as DepEd Chief. Joining us today, as always, Ana Marie Pamintuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star, and Storycon's resident political pundit, on his way, just stuck in traffic, Ronald Llamas. He will be seated here, hopefully soon. Okay, Ami.
Hi, Patrick and Ed.
Hello.
Okay, magpe-page 1 rin ba itong survey ng OCTA Research sa inyo, Ami?
Of course.
It's Tulfo and
Erwin, the
Tulfo.
brothers Tulfo, no?
Yeah. Number 1, Tulfo. Number 2, Tulfo again. Of
Tulfo.
course, it's different from the Public Asia, Pulse Asia survey, which showed Brother Ben Tulfo at number 4. Pero itong sa OCTA, 1 and 2. Di ba?
Talaga yung brand, ano?
Parang mga kabangga ko.
Easy, Bok.
Bakit ba teka lang?
Well, dating kapatid. Dating kapatid.
Sarap ng tawa, no?
Dating kapatid. Ano, yan. These are two broadcast brothers. Ano. It's a strong brand, di ba? Now, they follow the footsteps of their Kuya Bon into broadcasting at saka hard-hitting broadcasters. Ayan, now, we're seeing them number 1 and number 2.
Walang bagong pangalan dun sa 1 to 12 maliban kay
Wala.
Ben-Hur at kay Isko. At si Abi, at saka si Abi.
Okay.
But other than that, yung the first 9 at least, pare-pareho
But
pangalan.
we understand that Isko is more interested in
mayor.
retaking Manila.
Mayor.
So there's one spot left there. Ikaw, Ami, what do you make of this list? The last time we asked Pulse Asia's Ronald Holmes, ang sabi niya, it tells us, ano yung quote niya, Bok? That people need political education.
Ano si Ronald?
one line lang talaga sinabi.
Ronald Holmes.
That was Ronald Holmes. Ikaw, Ami, what do you make of this list?
Name recall pa rin, hindi ba?
right.
Name recall siya eh.
Right.
Masyadong saka ang nagtatap yung marunong makipag-interact directly with the masa.
Yun.
Parang yun ang ngayon, yun ang concern ng tao, yung immediate, yung instant gratification ba ng mga pangangailangan, whether yung material na tulong o yung by way of mediating between them and the government, yun yung mga tumataas lagi. Ina mo si Bongo, ang kanyang brand yung sa
Malasakit.
yung sa healthcare
Right, malasakit.
yung nakaka-deliver yung malasakit Yung mga ganyan, and the Tulfo brothers, yun yung brand nila, di ba? Sumbong mo kay Tulfo, pag sinumbong mo, may action kagad.
Right.
Yun yung mga, yun yung tinatanong ko nung sa opposition, di ba? Kasi yung corruption medyo nagiging abstract na for a lot of people, Di ba?
Right.
Yun pa rin na issue nila, So yan, down the line, tingnan nyo yung iba naman, name recall, entertainment, hindi natin pwede i-denigrate din yung entertainment, no? Merong nare-relax yung mga tao kapag entertain, No.
Sa Senado.
Di ba?
Sa Senado.
Well,
Meron siyang immediate na,
yes,
merong
impact.
immediate
Nararamdaman ng tao.
demand,
Right. Kahit visceral lang yung Bok. I mean, I think yun sinabi nga ni Ami, in one way or another, you have to connect. Diba? Whether it's through television entertainment or doon sa tulong na de-deliver mo.
Question lang, it's back. I'm just curious about Ben-Hur Abalos. I know Interior Secretary siya, so he's been going around the country as Interior Secretary, also MMDA Chairman dati. Pero parang, ako nagulat ako na his name is
I have an
there.
answer to that, Bob.
Oh.
He's been appearing in the teleserye of the other
Ganun?
network.
Talaga?
Yung one of their top-rated teleseries, yung Black Rider.
Ganun?
So he has a role
Yeah.
there. It's an action teleserye. So it's a role there where he's talagang may baril siya.
Talaga?
Oo, uma-action siya.
Parang...
So now you shouldn't be surprised, right?
Okay. Okay. Now I get it.
Now you get it. Okay.
Kasi otherwise, di ba, I know again, Interior Secretary siya, pero medyo hindi high impact.
Black
type role
Rider,
yung
one of the top-rated teleseries, prime time in the
Yes.
other network.
Nahalata ko rin, hindi ako nanonood.
And alam mo din naman si Lito Lapi, di ba?
Ako naman, nakwento
Sikat
na sa akin.
sikat din yung show
Yun,
niya.
nakwento na
Sige
sa
daw,
akin.
sige daw. May disclaimer ka agad.
Diba?
But I've seen
Si
clips.
Pia
I've seen clips.
Cayetano, may
I've seen
show.
clips,
Oh.
Diba?
Tsaka,
Yung mga
mga
dyan may show
old
eh.
names yung mga yan eh. Mga comebacking yan eh.
Besides that, mga kilala na sila eh.
Oo.
Kaya ang hirap kapag bago ka, no?
Ang hirap
Siguro kailangan
sumingit
mag-artista
pag
ka rin
hindi
muna.
ka pa nanggagaling dyan. Ang hirap sumingit, lalo na ngayon.
Okay, pero to, Ami, how do you explain the presence
Yan,
of
yan,
there? The inclusion of former senator now, comebacking senator siguro soon, Ping Lacson, for example. Yan, hindi artistahin niya. I mean, artistahin siguro sa dating, pero it's not like may teleserye siya o ano.
Hindi lapid yan.
Di ba? Anong tingin mo, Ami? Ping
But
Lacson.
on the other, pero he has remained in the limelight, di ba? Marami siyang issues na hinahanap siya ng mga tao eh. Nakikita pa rin siya lagi dyan eh. Madalas siya nagpapa-interview, marami siyang, hindi naman siya yung nagbo-volunteer eh. Hinahanap siya ng mga tao for interviews eh. Saka ang ano niya, malakas pa rin yung dating ng criminality issue, no? Tingnan mo si Bato de la Rosa. Malakas pa rin siya. Si
Pero,
Duterte
Ami,
is
Nakakagulat si
criminality.
Duterte is down the list. He's halfway down, more than halfway down.
In this list. He's higher in the other list of Pulse Asia. Ami, another person, Pia Cayetano. This one kind of surprises me because, she's not exactly always in the news. Hindi
May
naman...
show siya.
Meron ba, Ami?
Meron din siyang program, di ba?
Okay.
Meron din, di ba? On
Yun talaga
radio
sikreto.
or
Yun ang
TV or
pinapapanood.
ano.
Yun talaga
Parang
sikreto
help-
ngayon.
Parang ganon din, na tumutulong-tulong din, ganon. Yun ang alam ko. I don't know kung
Okay.
natapos na, pero I know na meron siyang ganon.
Pero bakit ito? Something I'd like to ask our guest later on. Kasi si Duterte is down the list. Nauuna pa yung mga in-endorse niya noong 2019 sa kanya sa listang ito. Talking about, of course, Bongo, Bato, and Francis Tolentino. Nauna pa sa kanya dun sa listang ito.
Wala
Kaya baka dahil din sa
mapapaliwanag dyan.
sinasabi niyang hindi naman siya tatakbo.
Pwede rin. Oo.
Yeah. Well, actually,
Yung mga anak niya, wala dyan eh.
Well, of course, the other
Oh,
question
that's
then
also
that we...
significant,
Right.
di ba?
Yeah. And then the other question we also have to ask Octa Research later is, was this a list that was given to the survey
Aided?
respondents?
Aided or top of mind?
Or
Lang
top of
mga tao.
mind. Ikaw bahala maglista kung sinong unang nasa utak mo. Kasi magkaiba rin yung dynamics yun eh.
Hindi natin alam yan. Siguro we have to ask ko.
Yeah, we will naman later. May guest tayo mamaya eh.
Si super ate ng Pangulo is medyo mababa sa listahan nito. In the Pulse Asia survey, she was more or less in the top 6
Mataas
or
siya.
something. Here, medyo nandun siya sa bingit ng nasa laylayan ng konti dito in this list. Yeah.
Although yung mga survey, yung early survey sa presidential, nandun siya. Ha? Top
right.
5, I think, top 6. Kaya yan, significant din.
Oh, yan. Yan na pala si Sir.
Hi.
Hi, Professor.
Ayan na pala siya.
Sorry, I just
Hi,
came
Professor.
from Hi, good afternoon. Just came from a class situation. So, yeah, good afternoon to
Sige,
everyone.
ayan.
Hi, Sir. Good
Tanungin
afternoon.
niyo na.
Sorry, si Professor Ranjit Rai ng Octa Research ang nasa linya po ng telepono.
Siya
Yes.
magpapaliwanag tungkol sa senatorial survey nito. Prof, okay. How would you describe this ranking, this list? What does it tell us?
Well, this is a snapshot of a particular period in time. And these survey data, they change, no? And they do reflect and what other survey companies are also seeing, no? To a great extent. Rankings are not so important for me as an analyst, no? As the percentages that these particular surveys show, no, for each candidate, no?
Okay.
And because you have to understand, different surveys have different methodologies. Their periods also are very different. The lists are also much longer for other survey companies. But in our survey, we have what's a big story in our survey? We have two Tulfos, 1 and 2. So it's the first time, no? Erwin Tulfo at 58% ranked 1, and Ben Tulfo at 45% ranked 2, no? Another big story here is PRRD, no, went down in our survey. And I think another big story here is Pia Cayetano surged, no, or double digits. She's now ranked 4 in our survey. Other big stories.
Benner Abalos.
Francis Tolentino is up in our survey. So maybe that reflects some things he did over the last few weeks. I think, moving towards the administration and a stronger position in the West Philippine Sea, we see some improvement. No? The same with Lito Lapid, no? And Benher Abalos. So, but basically, this is our own. These numbers will still change. These positions and ranks will change, and it also shows that it's competitive, extremely competitive. You'll notice, dikit-dikit, no? Sa ating mga kababayan na nakikita yung survey, dikit-dikit ho yung mga ranks at saka mga porsyento po. So very competitive, pre-midterm survey in our view.
Okay, Professor Rai, can you explain to us what voting for the percentage on the right column? What does it mean? Yung voting for, and then there's a percentage.
This is the percentage of the interviewees who would vote for them. So if elections were held today, and the survey was conducted from June 26 to July 1, with 1,200 respondents all around the country, 58% would vote for Erwin Tulfo.
58%, and then for Ben Tulfo, it's 45%. Is that a high number, or is that a mid number, or a low number? The presumption here is if you had...
the threshold for us, at least in OCTA, is around 30%. So if you have or you're close to 30%, you're competitive. It's a bit tight. We will get better at estimating, but it's according to Prof. David, it's around 30% of the vote. So that should put you in a safe place as far as the top 12 is concerned. So when you talk about Erwin Tulfo, it's not just 30%. It's a majority of Filipinos prefer him. So this is a preference survey, kasi, sir.
Shouldn't the number one, the person topping this list, shouldn't he be scoring upwards of, let's say, 70 to 80%? I'm just
that was his number in 2 quarters ago, Patrick. Yeah, but some phenomena happened. His brother decided to run, no, or is planning to run, and si Ben Tulfo took some votes away from Erwin. In the last quarter, it's around 16 to 17 points. So sa mga ating kababayan na nakikinig, kumbaga ba, nahahati yung boto sa dalawang Tulfo, but they're still very competitive.
Okay, so nakaka-epekto.
How did you come up with the names? You provided the names, or may nag-suggest?
Yes. These are the names, and these are the names that are used in the ballot. And this is the same list that we've had over the last 3 quarters here. So we
provided the names.
Yeah, we provide the names po. Yeah.
Is it possible, Professor Rai, that yung...
Wala ba kayong balak na
Professor Rai,
wala ba kayong balak na mag-survey din ng mag-survey ng Do people understand what senators are supposed to do? Ano trabaho ng senador?
Yeah,
Fill in the
siguro
blanks
it'll be a
nga
good
tayo pag ano.
survey probe,
Yeah.
Ami. Yeah, so why not? No?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually did a probe on the on charter change and the
Yes.
constitution, and we asked those questions. Are they aware about the constitution? Do they know anything about it, or are they aware about charter change? And it's quite illuminating. We'll come out with a probe. In the next week, siguro we'll finish the report, and then we'll let you know about it. But so you're right, no? It's important to ask our and to continue to interrogate, no,
Yes.
our citizens about their awareness about issues, yeah, and institutions in your case, yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
So may bala kayong magtanong ng gano'n, ha?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Sige, we'll try to accommodate your request po.
Okay,
Sige.
going to the number 1, number 2 tool for Professor Rai, is it possible that the respondents can't tell between the two?
Yeah, that there was always that possibility. That's why when we designed the survey, it wasn't alphabetical, so as not to create that kind of problem, no. But yeah. He's been with the case in the case of the two Tulfos, they've been doing very well in our surveys for the last 2 quarters. And Ben Tulfo only started. We only started measuring his numbers last quarter, and it's the trending is it's going up. He didn't just eat into Erwin's numbers, but others also went down. And so that's why, which explains why he's moved from I think top 5 to number 2. No? So yeah, some of the people in the top 12 also lost some, in this quarter also declined a little bit. Yeah, and I think the big decliners are Amy Marcos and President Duterte. Yeah.
Okay, going back one last time to the Tulfos. Is it correct to presume that if there's only one Tulfo running, that percentage voting for would be much higher for that one Tulfo running?
Yes. Actually, that we have data to prove that in the 4th quarter of 2023, Erwin Tulfo was in the mid-70s. Yeah, there was only one Tulfo running, and or at least being surveyed. Of course, now we have 2 Tulfos. They'll probably inch into each other's votes, split the vote in a sense, no, or the preference. If there was an election today, it would be an advantage if both Tulfos were in the same group. They would probably complement each other. But if they're on different sides, baka magkaagawan ng boto, no? Kasi pagka in one group sila, probably magbibit-bitan sila, in the words in Filipino, no? And complement each other and the ticket in general. But we don't know what the configuration, whether they're going to run in under the same under the administration or with the emerging opposition.
And yet, Professor Rai, nag-aagawan ng boto, and yet it seems to be it's formidable enough for them to at least share the top 2 spots at the same time. I mean, what does this tell us? I mean, is this by far, to your memory, the strongest family name you've seen yet in an election survey?
This is a pre-election survey, so Patek, things will change. And you don't. We're not the only survey company out there. Where there are other survey companies, and people can compare. No, it's too early to say that this will sustain itself. This will be the trend, but they are quite formidable. No, at least that we've been tracking Erwin Tulfo since last year. And he's Congressman Erwin Tulfo since last year, and there's obviously a brand that's emerging and quite it's a preferred brand. We talked about political preference of Filipinos being pro Duterte, pro Marcos, being part of the opposition. A big chunk of our kababayans are moving towards being independent. Not preferring either the Marcoses or the Duterte, so even the traditional opposition. So, there is a space for a brand like the Tulfos. And it's really for them at this point to sustain, no, and strengthen, no, and make clear what that brand stands for, and to sustain support for it. They're very strong, no, as far as this forthcoming elections are concerned. But these numbers could change, no. They could decline. They could even consolidate even further. But I think the challenge here is if they can be in one group, no, where they are going to be running in. If they're going to run with the administration or with the opposition, we don't know this, no?
Why would running in the same group serve their election campaign more than running separately?
I think running together and with the endorsement of their very popular brother would help clarify for voters. No, it will be easier for voters. But if they're on different sides, competing with one another on different issues, this might this might be to the detriment, no, of their broadening base of support. That's just my own point of view. But we don't know kasi if they're going to. Well, first of all, if Ben is really going to run, or number two, if they're going to be in the same group. I don't know that, but it will be to the advantage of any group that emerges to have both of them,
Prof,
because they will not just be
Professor?
supporting each other.
Prof,
Yeah.
bakit
But
bumaba
the whole
si
slate will be
Professor,
supported.
Prof, ba't bumaba si PRRD? Bakit si bumaba? And secondly, bakit, although sabi mo nga kanina, malilit naman ang differences ng percentages, pero mas mataas pa rin si Bongo, si Bato de la Rosa, tsaka si Tolentino, kaysa sa dating Pangulo na nag-endorso sa kanila in the last election. I mean, in 2019.
Yeah, that's true. We're surprised ourselves. No? But President Duterte's numbers were relatively stable until the first quarter of this year. He was always in the top 5. Now he's moved out of it. And those mentees, no, people, he's
Mentees.
people, yeah, he helped support, no, in the past elections
2019.
are now on top, no. But we don't know. So much is happening as far as the dynamics is concerned, the context is concerned. So these numbers could change. But Bongo has been statistically stable in our surveys. He's not doing too well in the others, no, but in our surveys, he's remained in the top 5. Bato fluctuates between the top 5 and towards 6, 7, 8. But it's been very stable for them. Changes are very slight. What was surprising is really, President Duterte. His numbers went down. And there could be, I can only speculate as to the reasons. No? I mean, the political noise, the Marcos Duterte fight, real time and online. Alam mo yon, this all could have had an effect, no, on his numbers.
Yes, sir.
We're not even sure if he's going to run anyway. So,
Yes, sir.
but just looking at the numbers, may decline ng konti sa numbers ni PRRD, and of course, doon kay Senator Marcos. Yeah.
I also remember binakbakan
Professor, ang
ni
consistent
Paulo
dyan.
Duterte binakbakan ni Paulo Duterte dati si Bongo publicly. I was wondering if the survey was conducted before bakbakan ni Paulo Duterte si Bongo or after. And if it was before, I guess parang wala masyadong effect.
Yeah, actually, but I think the allegations against Senator Bongo were more serious than that. No, there were allegations were put in the media. I don't know if that was captured by the survey. There were some other more serious allegations,
Yeah,
other than the spot they had. Yeah, but I don't know if that was covered. I can go back to my notes now, but I'm not sure that issue was captured by the survey. Yeah.
Professor, you mean yung survey nyo, you mentioned the issues when you were asking about the voter preferences. Meron din bang kasama na issues, concerns of the voters?
Yes, of course. We're going to, Ami, we're going to release these results now. We did have a poll on urgent national and personal concerns, because I think that's the most important, one of the most important probes.
No, I mean
that we do for them.
related to the voter preference.
Yes, we
Related to
have
the
some
voter
issues,
preference.
Like,
So ano kaya yun? Baka pwede mo na kami bigyan ng preview. Ano yung top concerns? Top 3 lang, top 3.
Hindi ba na-release officially? Pero we did have a couple of issues. Okay, I'll give you an
Yes.
example. We looked
Top
at
3.
voter preference for West Philippine Sea. Will you vote for somebody who has a very strong position on the West Philippine Sea? Just not to preempt our report, no. So we
Okay.
asked that. We asked support
Yes.
for the divorce bill. Will you vote
Yes.
for somebody for Soji? So we asked a couple of issues, no, and just to gauge voter preference on not just the issue, but if they will vote for somebody with a senatorial candidate with a strong position on certain issues. So Ami will give you that. No? So we'll give you the
West
report
Philippine
once
Sea
it's
lang, isa lang. Isa lang, West Philippine
Okay,
Sea.
one, ano, I can't give the percentages. I don't have the data.
Ah,
Yet.
sige,
Professor
sige.
David is making it pa.
Ah.
So, well, on West Philippine Sea, it's very clear. It's not just they'll vote for somebody with a strong pro-Philippine position on the West Philippine Sea, an
Yes.
assertive stance. And that now, it's very high. I can't give you the exact number. It's now what we call an election issue. It used to be an unimportant issue based on our list of urgent concerns, but now from the latest survey that we have, it's now become an election issue, and people will vote for candidates with a very clear position on the issue. So
Yung
maybe I
Pogo.
can share that.
Pogo, is it an election issue?
Yeah,
Pogos.
we have data, but I don't have I don't still have the results. Yeah, but we also ask that. Yeah, the position on Pogos of our citizens, no, and of course if they will vote for a candidate who will have a strong position with regards to banning Pogos all over the country. Don't worry, we'll release all of this once the data has been analyzed. Because there's no...
We understand, sir. You can
the West Philippines, I have already got some sense because I saw some of the data already presented.
Yes,
it's
sir.
now become an election issue here.
Yes, sir. We understand you can't release the percentages yet anyway. But just to qualify lang, dun sa issue ng West Philippine Sea, when you say that candidates, voters will vote for those with strong positions on West Philippine Sea, are you saying strong positions to protect our rights on the West Philippine Sea?
Yeah.
Kasi it can go either way. It can go either way.
Wording, yeah. And it's really the assertive
Even
stance
protect
on the
rights
West
can
Philippine
go
Sea.
both ways, Bo.
Yeah.
Di ba?
No.
We were very clear.
So they'll vote for candidates who...
It's not both ways. We framed it as a more assertive stance.
More assertive stance. Okay, there you go.
Towards the West. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I don't have the exact data.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to report about it.
We're just fishing.
But we did ask all of those questions as part of a comprehensive probe for the second quarter, and very interesting results. Yeah.
Okay.
Kamusta, Prof?
Ang consistent sa results nyo, Professor, ang consistent yung traditional opposition talagang nawawala siya, no? Is there still room for the traditional opposition
Classic
in
Ami.
2025?
I think
Classic, traditional, legacy, whatever you call it.
If we're talking about the Liberal Party candidates, yes, there is a very strong chance that they can still make it. No, I mean we have Kiko Pangilinan, who's doing quite well. It's just that if the elections were held today and this was it shows a very tight midterm race. No, I mean there's a lot of competitive. Groups and names, no, and agrupations, and then you have to also think about who's going to be on the the slate of the administration, and from all the rumors that are coming out, it seems like at least the names that have been floated that are going to run on the administration, it seems like the administration slate is quite strong. Up to 5 or 8 candidates are very strong and showing but whoever the opposition, the emerging opposition, they have 2 or 3 people there that are quite formidable, no, and doing very well in our survey and all the other surveys. So it's a tight, a very competitive. It's looking like a very competitive midterm race. But the administration seems to be doing well. If those are the names being floated. that are going to be part of the administration, their slate is also quite competitive, quite strong. But you have to remember, this is a referendum on the president. If he wins less than 10 senators, that's a statement, and you'll just be adding to the number of opposition senators in the Senate. So the administration just can't win; it has to win big. This is me talking not as OCTA fellow, but really as Ranjit Rai, political analyst. So the administration cannot just win; it has to win big in the midterms. So that's
Professor
why,
Rai, we had here a few days ago Pulse Asia, and in their survey, the urgent national concerns were number 1, inflation; number 2, I think it was pay increase,
Jobs.
and then jobs. And then I think is it any different from what you have found in your own survey?
In relation do sa tanong ni Patrick, Prof, ay
si Tito Ronald Llamas nga pala, ang ating graduate political analyst. Hindi pa napapakilala ko talaga.
mararating lang.
he's always on TV. He should
Traffic, Prof.
we should test the name. Ronald
Sir, sinama niyo ba
Llamas,
sa listahan niyo?
Sinama siya sa Pulse Asia.
Ay, biro lang yun.
He has more visibility than most candidates. Alam mo yan.
Biro lang yun.
Prof, in relation to sa tanong ni Patrick, dahil nga kalalabas lang din ng Pulse Asia, at may mga major differences between sa survey results nyo at sa kanila. Ang tanong ko ay, ano ba yung difference sa inyong methodology? Bakit ganyan yung mga differences, halimbawa sa ratings, at doon sa mga issues na napag-uusapan?
Pero bago yung methodology, Prof, ano yung urgent concerns ng taong bahay ngayon in that survey? Is it still also the same, inflation?
I think based on what I've initially seen from the survey, from the team, the field team, and what they've initially provided me, is that it's more or less the same from last quarter. So when you talk about OCTA, number 1 is really managing inflation as a key issue. Number 2 is really wages. And number 3 is affordable food. So those are top 3. Jobs is number 5. It's always remained that way, meaning that the economy has opened up. It's creating jobs, but these jobs are not providing the pay needed to sustain families and to deal with to compete with the rising cost of goods and services. So these are the top 3 concerns of our kababayans. The percentages may differ a little bit. Now, as to the differences, Ronald, when you look at our survey, I think there's so many similarities and more than differences. Rankings will always change, but by and large, when you look at the top 12 of, the reputable survey companies, you'll see that they're common. The list is almost the same, except for some individuals who rated better in our survey than theirs. So almost everybody here, except with the exception maybe 2 or 3 people, are also found in some of the reputable surveys that have come out also.
Halimbawa, Prof, yung West Philippine Sea as an emotional and election issue, parang medyo magkaiba yung Pulse at saka yung sa OCTA.
Hindi pa namin nilalabas yung sa amin, Ronald. Pero medyo siya. Wala masyadong gray area. When I say that, majority of Filipinos will vote for somebody. I don't have the exact number, but majority of people who will support a candidate with a very strong support for the assertive position of the government now in the West Philippine Sea. So it's not just an emotional issue, Ronald. It's now become an electoral issue. And so candidates can expect that voters will vote along those issue lines also.
But it doesn't figure, Professor Rai. It doesn't figure high in the priorities of respondents. Kasi from Pulse Asia, medyo nandun siya pero wala siya ata sa top 10, parang ganon. Right.
Hindi that's true. Kasi the question is, what are the urgent, personal, and national concerns? So there's a ranking, prioritization, top 3, okay. So so it will never figure out there. But when you ask them a separate question of whether it is what their position is on the issue, a lot of Filipinos express their position on the issue. Awareness has gone up.
Okay, ganito lang, Prof.
Support for. support for the president and the administration's position on the West Philippine Sea is up 2 quarters already. So the trend is going up. Third, when you
ganito na
ask
lang, Prof.
them about the top 3 measures that the government should undertake to resolve the conflict in the West Philippine Sea, nearly 7 out of 10 Filipinos have a clear position. One is assert our rights through military action. Number 2, assert our rights to diplomatic and peaceful means. And number 3, to modernize the armed forces. That's around 7 out of 10 Filipinos.
Okay.
So Filipinos our citizens have a position on the issue. It's just in the grand scheme of things, in the
Sikmura
grand,
muna.
list sikmura muna,
Sikmura.
economic issues.
Okay.
And I think that will be those will be the key issues in the midterm elections.
Okay, ganito na lang, Prof. Will it hurt a candidate for Senate if his position, for example, is more along the lines of friendlier towards China? Yan na lang. Will it hurt?
I think so. It will hurt.
Or
I think it will
capitulation
hurt
to
him
China.
right now. But we could develop the probe even more and get more insight. This is the first time we're asking it anyway. But the response, at least, was quite dramatic. More than the majority. 3/4 of Filipinos actually would vote for a candidate who supports a more assertive stance by the Philippines in the West Philippine Sea. So it's pretty clear that will be something that they prefer.
So, Professor, may
A
impact
candidate that
kaya
doesn't
yun,
support that. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
may impact kaya yun sa Duterte brand? Would you say?
Yes.
Yung issue na yan on the West Philippine Sea, is it
we
impacting the
haven't,
Duterte brand?
I don't have data
kasi bumaba
from
siya
OCTA to say that. Yeah, to make a statement on that. We don't have data yet on that. But as an independent analyst,
Yes.
I'm sure it will have an impact. Yeah, especially if it's made clear. If they're not clear what their position is on the issue, so it will have an impact. Definitely, most definitely. But OCTA doesn't have data on that, so I can't speak about it with
The
definitively based on-
Professor, the softening of the ranking or the of a performance of, for example, of Senator Amy Marcos, and also we notice that Duterte is not very high. Is that affected by what? By their positions on the West Philippine Sea, for example?
It could be, Patrick. We can speculate because we didn't ask why. Yeah, but definitely it could be a plethora, a confluence of many issues and situations that happened before the survey. There are lots of events that happened there, and we all know that there's been this word war, this social media war between the Dutertes and the Marcoses, and maybe that has affected to some degree preference for PRRD in our senatorial survey.
Prof, yung survey nyo last time, a month ago or 2 months ago, medyo dramatic yung pagbaba ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Again, itatanong ko, ano yung difference niyan dito sa recent Pulse Asia survey na hindi ganun ka-dramatic? Mataas pa rin si Vice President Sara. Kaya ano yan? Is it a question of methodology, tanong? Dahil hindi naman masyado magkalayo pa yung survey period. So, bakit ganun ka-dramatic yung pagkakaiba?
Actually, Ronald, hindi naman ganun ka-dramatic rin. She's still at the range which we call very good. She's above 60%. It's just that the decline from her mid-70s number was much higher. Her decline was much higher than the president's. And that was all that was actually the finding for last quarter. Now this quarter, let's see if her numbers improve. We still don't have, we're still going through the data. And again, you guys will be the first to know if her numbers improved or if they continue to decline. What we also want to see if the president's numbers improve, this quarter, because there's been a lot of interventions of late from the administration in preparation for the SONA. We want to see also if all of these interventions by the administration have impact on their trust and performance ratings. So that part of our survey is still not yet finished. We're going to release it next week. So you guys will know, of course, in advance when we are finished with this data.
Okay, tanong mo na yung tungkol sa matchup, kung meron silang matchup this time.
Yan. may phone-in
yung sa
question.
matchup,
May
meron
phone-in
kami.
question dito, Prof, si Patrick Paez. Pinonin lang niya. No? Meron ba kayong survey tungkol sa mga...
Binulong lang niya.
Meron ba kayong survey tungkol sa mga matchup?
Yeah.
Yung kasi hinihintay ng mga tao.
Meron kami, Ngayon, this quarter, hindi na siya commission. Kami na nagtanong,
Yun.
gaya ng suggestion ng iba, kami na magtanong na para wala nang,
Yeah,
we can release the data, no? So we're going to release that data soon, sir. But I don't think there's any major change. Yun lang. Yun ang we don't have the exact numbers yet. Again, these are all going to be reported. Give us a chance to report this formally. But we see a continuing trend. Yun lang.
A continuing trend. So pareho rin.
Yes. Halos pareho rin. Yeah.
Is it pareho lang yung agwat or is it being closed in or is somebody pulling away? Yan.
Kulit no?
I think that somebody's pulling away. Yeah.
Ano yun?
If this is a matchup one-on-one, I think somebody's pulling away.
You think somebody's pulling
we are
away?
Seeing, but again, I don't sound like a professional, a representative of a survey company. Kaya kasi I don't have the reports yet. No? Once Professor David clears everything, I can report everything. And kami naman, when we release to the media, we release everything, including the report, the formal report, the technical data. So with regards to Ronald's question, I think there's similarities with the methodology. We do a face-to-face interview. Our weights are different. The periods of our surveys are also different. The spots where we conduct the surveys are different. So you will see some changes, some differences. But I don't think they're very dramatic. In our case, the satisfaction rating for the vice president is still quite high, and also for the president, as far as our surveys are concerned.
Okay, Professor.
The numbers, her numbers declined. We want to find out if it's a trend, if our numbers continue to decline in this quarter.
Okay, Prof, balik lang tayo sa matchup. One-on-one pa rin to, no?
Opo. Yeah. Well, nothing has changed as far as our surveys are concerned. We'll release a formal report so everybody to see, and including all the candidates to see na rin. Free survey results for them to
because in the past, Professor, you did not release the results of this
It was
matchup.
embargoed, di ba?
Right.
Kasi it was commissioned. Unfortunately,
for your
it was
eyes
commissioned.
only.
But based on our discussions in OCTA, why don't we just conduct it just for the sake of contributing to the discussion?
Okay.
But then again, we have to understand it's one-on-one in a multi-candidate contest.
Right.
Those
could be different.
candidates with a bailiwick always have an advantage, no? And and that's how it is, eh? And you can see that also with the other survey companies that have released their surveys on this issue. So in a multi-candidate contest, the established political names will have some advantage. Yeah.
So in this snapshot of a survey, Professor, is it right to conclude that what we're seeing on the one-on-one matchup has some halo effect on the senatorial survey?
If you're talking about the established brands or emerging brands and how popular they are today, I'll give you an example. Sige, sabihin natin example, the Tulfo brand, no? The Tulfo brand, if they're in the same ticket, it will likely, help the whole slate. They're quite popular now. And I do believe they'll continue to be popular given what we know about Erwin Tulfo's numbers over the last year that we've been observing him. Numbers have been relatively stable until Ben Tulfo came in and took away some, votes from him. But they continue to be formidable together. So if that's a way, a roundabout way of answering your question. As an analyst, I think they're going to be formidable in this coming election. If they're in the same ticket, that will be extremely advantageous for the whole slate. Because right now, I don't think if the rumors of possible configurations of slates are true, I don't know if anybody can win 12 out of 12 the way, and shut out whatever opposition the way it happened during the Duterte administration in 2019. But then it's crucial for the administration and their legislative agenda to have a strong Senate, supportive Senate, made up of members of their slate. So they just can't win it. They have to win big in 2025. So right now, as you can see from the survey, while they have a number of potential members of their slate doing well in the survey, the emerging opposition is still very competitive.
Emerging opposition. Okay.
Emerging. Ay, yung Makabayan Block. Wala kasi, hindi ko kasi nakikita yung buong slate eh. Kasi because they have announced already. They have announced already and they have promised to field 12 eh. Diba? But names have already been mentioned. Anong masasabi nyo in their performance? May pag-asa ba makapasok? Medyo mababa eh.
Yeah, medyo mababa silang now, but we don't know as they progress in their campaigning and in building their alliances, they might improve. Nery Cormilares is doing very well.
Yeah.
I mean, the one doing very well as far as the survey is concerned. Yeah, and so there's one person at least who's doing very well as far as the survey is concerned, and the others are still going to catch up. There's still a lot of time to build, to start the campaign and build it over, until the elections next year. So there's still a lot of time. So these surveys will change, and these numbers are just a snapshot. But as far as the left is concerned, their strongest candidate is Colmenares.
Okay.
Okay.
What about Llamas?
Okay.
Oh, what about Llamas lang?
Huwag niyo sagutin,
Ako
Prof.
kasama dyan sa Pulse Asia.
Huwag niyo sagutin,
Doon sa isang
Prof.
survey kasama siya.
Guys, generally speaking, we don't compare with Pulse and OCTA. We don't talk about their surveys. They don't talk about ours as an ethical, practice, no. But then again, for the everyday citizen, you can always compare naman and see the similarities and the differences. And you'll notice naman when you look at the top 12, there are more names that are similar than different. Rankings may be different because of the number of candidates that were listed in the survey, the period of the survey. But the names, the common names are come out, and in the top 5 you'll see more or less the same names. Just the ranks are different.
Okay. Professor Ranjit Rai, President of OCTA Research, maraming salamat po. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Salamat,
Thank
Prof.
Thank you for sharing our survey.
Professor.
Thank you. Thank you sa inyo. Thank you for sharing our survey. Thank you.
Nangako siya, tayo na
Thank you.
mauna kung sakaling
Yung given their numbers, Ronald, parang pwede pang isa pang Tulfo. Tumakbo, di ba? Kasi, kahit na the brother is eating into, Ben is eating into Erwin's numbers,
Just a bit.
there's still number 1 and number 2.
Yes.
So if Mon decides to jump in,
baka hindi ganun ka positive yung resulta. Kasi mo nang tatalon. Pero sabi nga ni Prof, ay,
Bakit naman?
kung yung dalawa ay magkasama sa isang slate, may strengthen yung slate.
okay.
No? So, yun yung isang mahalagang input niya.
But may impact,
Bakit
pinakita kanina.
hihina kay Mon? Bakit hihina kay Mon, Ronald? I'm interested.
Parang mas notorious si Mon eh.
Ay, nako. Ganyan.
Di ba dating dating Philstar?
Kaya nga tinatanong ko, interested.
Kaya nga siya
Although
dati.
I've asked him ayaw niyang pumasok daw sa politika eh.
But
I've asked him
Mukhang local election ang interest niya eh.
fairly recently, ayaw daw niyang, I asked him, hindi daw siya interesado sa politika eh.
But
that's as of
seriously,
today.
Ronald, di ba
As of
usually, pag magkapatid, parehong pangalan, naghahatakan sila pababa.
Hindi, pero
In this case,
first time kasi ito na parehas Tulfo eh.
Yeah,
Yung nangyayari lang yan doon kay
Ejercito,
Jinggoy at saka
okay.
pero hindi magkaparehas yung apelyido. Oo. Ito yung first time na dalawang apelyido ay parehas magkasama tapos magkadikit pa.
magkadikit.
Number 1 tsaka number 2.
Cayetano.
Cayetano. Bakit di ata sa
Cayetano.
Hindi sabay yun. Hindi sabay yun.
Villar, mother and son.
Yeah, hindi sila nagsabay. Yung sa Villar, hindi rin nagsabay. Ito yung first time na magsasabay.
Okay.
Pero kanina kasi binabanggit
Okay.
ni Professor dalawang sombrero niya eh. Yung sombrero niya as a survey firm
And an
at yung,
analyst.
yung sombrero niya as an analyst.
Right.
Yun yung magandang pag-usapan
Yun.
with him.
Okay.
Ano yung tatlong Duterte?
Mukhang isa lang naman ang tatakbo eh. Ami.
Yung anak.
Yung baka si Baste.
one of
Dahil
the sons,
mukhang si Digong tatakbo as mayor. Dahil medyo malakas yung labanan nila ngayon sa Davao against the Nograles. At si Pulong mukhang hindi naman siya pang national. Kaya mukhang tatakbo siya
Congress.
as Congress. No? So
Congress.
yung float ni Vice President Sara na tatlo yung tatakbo, mukhang yung objective lang noon ay pag-usapan at ma-disrupt. No? Pero yung seryoso...
Hindi daw siya kakampanya. Sabi niya kanina. She's not campaigning for anybody, for any slate.
Dahil I doubt kung kakampanya siya for Bongo. Malinaw naman, open secret naman yan, na hindi nila gusto ang isa't isa. Tapos, mas malapit siya kay Amy at saka kay Francis Tolentino, na parehas
Hindi
na
daw
sa
siya
admin.
kakampanya.
Parehas na sa admin slate. Hindi, sinabi niya, tutulungan niya si Amy. Tutulungan niya
She's
si
not
Amy.
campaigning daw for the candidates of Marcos or Duterte. Kanina yun, ayun ang sinabi niya kanina.
Mukhang ang tingin naman niya kay
Hindi siya
Amy,
nasala.
hindi kandidato ng administration eh.
Okay.
Nasa administration slate, pero hindi kandidato ng administrasyon.
Pangako niya, si designated survivor, she promises to watch the SONA on TV. Ayan. Kaya sigurado na hindi siya talaga pupunta.
Talagang nangako.
Well, if Isko Moreno...
May article
Nangako.
sa Philippine Star tungkol sa kanya ngayon. Tungkol dun sa mga usapan daw nila di BBM. Diba? May article kayo ngayon eh. Parang ito yung mga...
Which she said in an ambush interview kanina sa turnover
Yes.
sa DepEd, ang sabi niya, it's personal and it's work. And that the First
Yes.
Lady had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Wala raw kinalaman yung First Lady. So it's personal for her and it's about work too. So she did not elaborate this time, but mukhang malalim, ano? Mukhang malalim, ano?
Mukhang magulo.
Mukhang
Mukhang
malalim.
magulo pa rin. Parang yung parang yung neither a bomb threat nor a joke,
parang ngayon ko na na-realize, masyado palang profound si Vice President Sara Duterte. No?
Kahirap
Dahil
i-deconstruct.
hindi mo maarok yung kanyang meaning no? Which is positive.
You think so?
Bumawi ka pa.
Umawi.
Dahil hindi tayo learned hindi natin kayang arokin.
Sinauna naman yun. O, teka.
Well, you
Ang
could
clear
say
lang
that she's
talaga
proving more,
hindi siya sisipot sa Monday.
mas intractable siya kaysa sa tatay niya. Kasi yung tatay niya, for all the speculations about yung ano niya, medyo transparent yung tatay niya eh. Pabago-bago
yes,
nga lang
actually.
minsan, but very transparent. You know,
At saka
some people, in fact, believe that Duterte is a person na walang thought bubble. Kung ano yung
What you see is what you get.
Oo,
diba?
lumalabas kagad.
At saka yung tatay niya mas witty at saka mas may sense of humor. Si Vice President kasi mas profound.
Humorless eh. No, she's actually humorless.
Humorless.
Although sabi nung...
Binabasahin ko na
sabi
nga
ng mga
si Ami, humorless ang sinabi.
Si Ami
we have
Pagkatao yun, we had nothing to do with that.
Okay, we have a few more minutes left, Ami, and ang request ng producer natin is pakita natin to dahil may malaking event na mangyayari at in a few days. Ewan ko kailan to. Yan. Okay.
Yeah.
Kahapon lang guest po natin, si Shelo Magno, former Finance Undersecretary. May ano pala ko, may concert kayong dalawa. Edo Manzanas
Oo
for
nga, no?
Senator. Yan.
Oo nga.
Si Ami,
Di ba AI yan?
Do it ba to? Ha?
Di ba AI yan?
Hindi, siya yung kakanta, si Professor yung
Magpaliwanag ka, Ronald. Magpaliwanag ka. Kasi hindi to meme, ha? Totoo to.
Totoo ba yan?
Totoo
Akala
to.
ko joke.
Magpaliwanag ka, Ronald.
Hindi, alaskahan lang
i-pitch mo
yan.
na.
Launching nung kanyang podcast. So, medyo light. Alaskahan, counting analysis. No?
At kantahan. Kakanta ka talaga.
Hindi naman, pipilitin.
Ano yung kakantahin mo? May sinabi ang hapon. Ano yung kakantahin mo?
My way.
Wag na.
Hindi my way. Iba sinabi ng hapon eh.
Surprise na lang. para panoorin ni Ami.
She plays the
Bagong
saxophone.
Pilipinas.
Yes,
She plays the
Nasa
saxophone.
UP Philharmonic yata siya dati.
So, haharanahan ka ba niya
Ah,
or something
talaga,
like that?
O ikaw yung haharana sa kanya.
Okay, duet
Ah, she
kayo.
actually plays the saxophone, ha?
Yes. Professionally, hindi siya
may
katulad ni Ed na kwan lang, na amateur.
Hindi kasi ako learned.
Okay, panoorin po nyo. Yan, nasa FB page yan ni
Bakit naman nilagay yan?
former Finance Undersecretary Shelo Magno.
It's in the public domain.
Yan yung problema rito pag nalilate ka eh. Napapahama ka eh.
Ami, taon-taon si Ami. Hindi mapigilan.
It's in the public domain, man. Okay, pinapalis na tayo.
Ay, nako.
Thank you for joining the Storycon today. Ami Pamintuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star, and Ronald Llamas,
Our resident, mga awit.
mga awit.
Sige, tomorrow 4 p.m. Si Ami. For the Storycon, I'm Ed Lingao.
I'm Patrick Pies. We are One News, all sides, all the time.
Ano naman nilagay?
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.